Something huge is happening right now. I mean, we are in the middle of a fundamental rewrite of how we tell stories. A massive change, all driven by these incredible leaps in technology. We're literally leaving behind a world where we all shared the same stories, and we're stepping into a new universe where there are infinite personal ones.
So, you probably saw this headline floating around. This past Christmas, the anime Grinch was just everywhere. It was this wild, super stylized remix of a classic story we all grew up with. But this wasn't just some funny meme. It was actually a signal, kind of like a crack in a dam, showing us a much, much bigger cultural change that's coming. Because that viral remix, it represents one of the first major blows to an idea that has ruled storytelling for like a century: canon. The idea that there's one single, official, real version of a story, and the creator gets to decide what it is. For generations, that was the law. And that law is about to be completely and permanently broken.
And this really lays out the massive change we're talking about. For 100 years, we've just been a passive audience, right? We just sat there and watched stories happen. But now we're stepping into what's being called the Immersion Era, an era where you don't just watch the story, you actually enter it. That line between the creator and you, the audience, it's basically being erased as we go from one shared reality to infinite one.
So, what's actually making all this happen? Well, this isn't just some far-off theory. This is being driven by huge moves in the industry right now, moves that are unlocking the door to these truly interactive stories. Let's just start with this number: $1 billion. That is the insane scale of Disney's recent investment in generative AI. And look, this isn't just another tech deal. For Disney, one of the most famously protective companies on the planet when it comes to their characters, this is a monumental, tectonic shift in their entire strategy. And this right here really gets to the core of it. For 100 years, Disney has protected its characters, Mickey Mouse, Star Wars, you name it, with this legendary legal iron fist. And now they're licensing that exact same IP to be used on generative AI video platforms. So why would they do that? Because they've figured out that the future of entertainment isn't a movie you go to watch. It's an environment that you get to live inside.
This timeline just makes that reversal so incredibly clear. I mean, you go from creating Mickey Mouse in 1928 and literally getting laws passed to protect him in 1998, to suddenly, in December 2025, just handing over the keys to the entire kingdom. It's a complete 180 on their strategy, and it's all because of this new technological reality.
And hey, it's not just Disney. At the same time, YouTube is testing out features that go way beyond just passively watching a video. Think about prompting the platform to generate a whole playable game level based on a video you're watching. The biggest video platform in the world is shifting from a place you go to watch stuff to a place you go to do stuff. And all of this leads us to this amazing concept of branching reality. See, it's not just about following Luke Skywalker's story anymore. It's about you stepping into that world and having your own story unfold, creating a totally unique narrative path that's completely separate from the official canon. It becomes your own personal remix.
Now, the implications here get really profound. This isn't just about cool new games and movies. This is about the possible breakdown of our entire shared cultural foundation.
For decades, we've had the water cooler moment. You know what I'm talking about. It's that shared experience. Everybody's showing up to work on Monday to talk about the crazy series finale of that one show that absolutely everyone watched. It gave us a common language, a shared culture. But in this new era, well, that common language starts to break down. If everyone is experiencing their own personalized, remixed version of a story, then the whole idea of a shared myth just dissolves. Your Batman story might end completely differently than mine. We might have watched the same movie, but we actually experienced two totally different realities. We're basically shifting from the old model of linear storytelling, a fixed path from A to B, to something brand new, algorithmic mythology. And in this new model, the original content, the canon, it's not the finished product anymore. Nope, it's just the seed. It's the starting point from which an infinite number of other stories, co-written by you and an AI, can just sprout and grow. This is what they call the co-creator model. Entertainment is shifting from being on demand, where you just pick something from a menu, to being on suggestion. You don't ask, hey, what's on? You tell the AI, build me a noir thriller starring these two characters from this universe, and oh, let me play the final act. You're literally suggesting the reality you want to experience. So what does it actually feel like to live in this new reality? Well, the tech is pushing us towards a future where we don't just generate content anymore, we get to inhabit the worlds that it creates.
I mean, think about it. There's been this clear progression in how we interact with AI. A few years ago, we were just kind of chatting with it. Then we started generating amazing images and videos with it. So what's the next logical step? Step 3. We are going to fully inhabit the worlds it builds for us.
And the technology to do this, it's already here. When you combine this incredibly lifelike AI-generated video with real-time interactive game engines, you don't just get a movie clip. You get a world that is aware that you're in it, that responds to what you do, and that can generate brand new parts of itself on the fly.
And look, this isn't science fiction. It's happening right now. A startup called Iconic, which is backed by Google's AI fund, is building AI characters specifically for immersive gaming. They run on-device, which basically means the AI's brain is right there in the game with you, not on some faraway server. These aren't pre-scripted robots. These are dynamic characters you can have real, unscripted conversations with inside a game.
Ultimately, this gets us to the real reason this whole shift is happening. The canon is dead because, in a world that has infinite creative potential, it's just too small. We are actively choosing to trade the comfort and the limitations of one single shared story for the beautiful, chaotic infinity of millions of personalized ones.
So is this a loss? Or is it something else entirely? Maybe this huge shift isn't an ending at all, but an opportunity, an invitation. For the entire history of media, we have been a society of observers. We watched, we listened, we consumed. But now, we are becoming a society of architects. We are literally being handed the tools to build our own realities, our own stories, our own myths.
The death of canon isn't something we should mourn. It's an invitation. It marks the moment we stop being told what a story is and start building the experiences we actually want to feel. It's the ultimate shift from being a passive consumer to an active creator.
Which really leaves us with one final big question. If you had the power to step inside any story you love and reshape it however you wanted, would you do it? And what happens when your truth and my truth, born from the exact same story, are completely different? Is that infinite personalization worth the price of a shared reality? The remix has already started.